Frontline Updates, where we delve deep into military strategies and updates from conflict zones. Today, we're discussing the progress of the ongoing special military operation as of March 21st, 2025. I'm your host, Sharifa Mohammed MGT.
I'm Colonel AC Ogintoy, an infantry officer. Heavy losses on Ukrainian side. The reports indicate substantial Ukrainian military losses, including over 6,855 servicemen, numerous tanks, armored combat vehicles, field artillery guns, and electronic warfare stations throughout the week.
Welcome to Frontline Updates, your trusted source for the latest developments on security and defense operations involving military forces. I'm your host, and today we have an exclusive interview with Colonel AC Ogintoy, who will provide insights into the progress of the special military operation as of March 21st, 2025. Colonel Ogintoy, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Let's begin with the big picture. Over the past week, what were the major actions taken by the Russian armed forces?
From March 15th to 21st, we executed 13 coordinated group strikes using high-precision weapons and attack drones. These strikes targeted and damaged critical Ukrainian military infrastructure, including airfields, drone assembly and training sites, ammunition depots, and temporary deployment points for both nationalist formations and regular Ukrainian armed units. These operations were coordinated across multiple fronts and aimed at disrupting enemy logistics, degrading their operational capabilities, and supporting our ground advances.
Let's talk about the Northern Front. What progress did your forces make there?
In the northern sector, particularly under the North Group of Forces, we carried out significant offensives. Two key settlements, Zayaloshenka and Rubinshkina, were successfully liberated. Ukrainian mechanized and airborne assault brigades in the Kursk region were heavily degraded through a combination of airstrikes, drone assaults, and artillery fire. In total, over 2,295 Ukrainian servicemen were neutralized, along with 16 tanks, 58 armored vehicles, and a considerable amount of artillery and electronic warfare systems.
That's a substantial toll. Were there similar developments in other sectors like Kharkov and Belgorod?
Yes. In the Kharkov and Belgorod directions, Ukrainian mechanized and assault units were engaged and defeated. This action was also carried out under the North Group's area of responsibility. The intensity and coordination of our strikes allowed us to neutralize their defensive postures and limit their mobility.
And what about the Western and Southern fronts? What kind of progress did we see there?
The West Group improved its positioning along the front line while causing significant attrition to Ukrainian mechanized, motorized infantry, and territorial defense brigades. Notably, we neutralized over 1,670 servicemen and destroyed U.S. supplied equipment like the Bradley infantry fighting vehicle and M113 armored personnel carriers.
The Southern Group has also reported taking more advantageous positions. Can you elaborate?
On the Southern Front, our tactical positioning also improved. The South Group defeated formations of several mechanized, mountain assault, and airmobile brigades. Over 1,600 Ukrainian personnel were lost there, along with multiple armored platforms and two Croatian-made RAK-SA-12 multiple launch rocket systems.
You mentioned U.S. supplied equipment several times. Has there been an increase in the presence or use of Western hardware by Ukrainian forces?
Yes, we've seen a sustained flow of Western equipment to Ukrainian units. Over the past week alone, we encountered and neutralized several U.S.-manufactured M113S, Bradley vehicles, and Max Pro MRAPs. This trend underscores the international involvement, but it also gives us insight into their logistics, which we are actively targeting.
Let's talk about the Center and East groups. Did they also see similar gains?
The Center Group occupied more advantageous terrain and inflicted serious losses on Ukrainian Ranger, assault, and mechanized brigades. They accounted for over 3,200 Ukrainian servicemen and destroyed a significant number of armored vehicles and support platforms.
And in the East?
In the east, our forces advanced deeper into enemy defenses. They engaged mechanized, mountain assault, and marine brigades. We estimate over 1,000 Ukrainian losses in that sector alone this week.
And what about operations in the Zaporizhia region?
The Dnipro Group liberated the village of Stepovoy. During operations, they damaged multiple Ukrainian brigades, including 4 coastal defense formations. Ukrainian losses included over 500 personnel and various equipment, including artillery and electronic warfare stations.
Finally, can you provide an update specifically on the fighting in the Kursk region as of March 21st?
The North Group continues offensive operations there. Just in the last 24 hours, they inflicted heavy losses on Ukrainian forces near Gagolevka, Gornal, and Oleshnya. Over 240 servicemen were killed, and several vehicles, mortars, and a tank were destroyed. 3 Ukrainian servicemen surrendered. Cumulatively in the Kursk direction, Ukrainian forces have lost more than 69,000 personnel and thousands of pieces of military hardware, including tanks, infantry vehicles, artillery, and radar systems.
Colonel, thank you for providing such a detailed briefing on the current military situation. Your insights are invaluable to our understanding of the conflict's dynamics. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Join us next time as we continue to provide up-to-date coverage on global military affairs. Stay with us for more updates and expert analyses on global defense and security issues. Stay informed, stay secure.
Thank you. Today, ongoing conflicts in Sudan, where the army has recently recaptured the presidential palace after 2 years of war, continue to affect many black children. Ethiopia's prime minister has pledged a peaceful approach to concerns about potential conflict with Eritrea over Red Sea access, while Ethiopia's army reports killing over 300 Fano militiamen. A power struggle in Tigray is escalating tensions between Ethiopia and Eritrea, potentially paving the way for further conflict. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, fighting in mineral-rich areas has led to over 3,000 deaths in less than 2 weeks. Other news includes flooding in a Nigerian city and the loss of U.S. aid to Ivory Coast due to extremist groups.